Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm Will Dragon, and this is Suzerain. We are the president of Swortland, and our country is in absolute shambles. We left off last time after just being to basically the World Summit, having told them that Rumburg is trying to invade us, and they really need to be looked at. We've come back to our own country. There have been threats of a military coup, which, you know, hasn't been seen in 30 years, and that's kind of the thing we're supposed to be moving our country on from, but maybe not. Our Vice President Lucian Glade has been hosting massive rallies trying to sway both the Conservative and Reformist voters whilst also trying to attract new undecided voters. Fortunately, the great and extraordinarily oratory skills of the VP has led to many new voters to flock to the USP. The VP is shining while expanding our potential voter base. Maybe he's the one that's going to hold the coup. Who knows? All I know is that things are not looking good. Vice Secretary Chairman Tokezitli Ayotaki of the United Assembly of United Kontana has made a groundbreaking announcement. He has proposed the World Revolution Manifesto, a revolutionary vision calling for an ideological shift towards Malinievism and Vaxlandian socialism globally. This manifesto aims to revolutionize global governance, focusing on investment in education, infrastructure, and health, rather than military investments. I tried that. It's not going well for me. The Republic of Magnolia officially put forward a bid to join ATO. It is likely that they will be entering the Arcasian sphere, as President Walker has tentatively accepted their bid to gain more foothold against CSP. ATO signs non-aggression pact for 3 years with Anraka. Amid escalation tensions between United Kontana and Arcasia, the ATO has forged a significant non-aggression pact with the Federation of Anrakan Isles. Given the strategic location of these isles, nestled between the continents of Makopa and Kontana, the pact solidifies an essential diplomatic relationship. Alright, so the world is gearing up potentially for war. With the now ex-Interior Minister Lilias Graf challenging President Anton Rain following her resignation, a Congress has been called at which the members of the USP will determine the party's future leadership. At the Grand National Assembly, both Graf and Rain will make speeches, after which the votes will be cast. I think I'm going to lose this. I mean, like I said, I think a military coup is about to happen. Mr. President, there is a problem. What kind of problem? Mr. Hall wants to speak with you. He is in the White Room. Please follow me. Do you know what it's about? I was just told to come and get you, sir. I opened the doors and we entered the White Room. I looked around. Simon was sitting, playing with a pen in front of him. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to let you know that I will be handing you my resignation shortly. You're trying to sabotage me before the elections. That is not why. I simply cannot go on anymore. Why? What are your reasons? I suppose I owe you an explanation. I have failed my mission as the Ministry of Economy. During our term, instead of stopping the recession, we have made it even worse and entered the Swordish Depression. I blame myself for this. I couldn't offer you better solutions. I have proven that I am unfit to serve as the Minister of Economy in Swortland. I will resign at the end of our term. Whoa, almost got the wrong one, number 2. I am afraid things are already in motion, Mr. President. I looked at Simon's determined face. I have no choice but to accept your resignation. Simon and Lucian left, and I took a seat alone in the White Room. Well, Simon Hall has just left me. Future of Rain's cabinet. The cabinet eyes turn President Rain's term approaches end. The vacant seat have been announced yet. However, the timing bears some questions about stability of the administration. Lilias Graf challenges Anton Rain. Arcasia's strategic checks on CSP forces. Swordish Foreign Minister retires. AM puts forward motion in support of Swortland. People's Front coming strong. Alright then, United Swortland Party Congress. I mean, I think I'm about to be ousted anyway, to be honest. It was the day of the United Swortland Party Congress. For the 3rd time in the party's and Swortland's history, a candidate was challenging an incumbent president. Surge was driving me to the Grand National Assembly for the historic event. I looked out of the window as we passed through the small forest dividing the Maroon Palace and the Assembly. I thought about the day I announced my candidacy against Ewald Alfonso when he was still president. Then I remembered how, just a few years before, that Ewald had challenged Tarquin Sol. How are you feeling back there, sir? I'm okay, Serge. How are you doing? I'm as good as I can be, sir. Serge made a left turn out of the forest and entered the vast garden area of the assembly. I still don't believe how Miss Graff could run against you. She owed her position to you. Doesn't matter, sir. She can do as she pleases. Of course, sir. It's not like she has a chance against you. He parked the car in front of the gate that led to the USP's wing of the assembly. Good luck, Mr. President. See you on the way back. Thank you, Serge. I entered the building and joined the crowd of influential politicians, lobbyists, and benefactors who had gathered for this turning point. It was almost time for the debate. The crowd dispersed, and the members of the USP went inside the Congress Hall. United Swordland banners hung from every possible spot. I tried to mentally prepare for my speech, but the lingering memories of the first two leadership races were making it hard for me to focus. As if on cue, Lilia strode past me into the hall, accompanied by a large group of her supporters. Instead of her usual beige, she wore a sun-yellow skirt and blazer. Iosef was on her left. I tried to ignore them as I entered the hall. I took a seat next to Lucian and waited for the session to begin. Mr. President, time to face Lilius. I can't shake the thought of losing today. Don't think that way, sir. Lilius is no match for you. Just the fact that she's a woman cripples her chances of victory. If you remind them who you are right before the vote, you will win the day. Of course I will. He pointed at the podium. Albin Clavin was there. He was about to introduce the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, the hall fell silent as he continued. We gather here today in the 28th Congress of the United Swordland Party for the third leadership race in its history. As one of the youngest members of the Assembly, I am honored to be opening this historic session today. The members of the USP will soon be voting on whether President Rain or Lilius Graff shall assume leadership going forward. Before we begin the selection process, I would like to invite both candidates to give a very short speeches. First, I would like to invite Anton Rain, the fourth president of Swordland and the chairman of our party. I stood up and walked to the podium amid applause and campaign music. I shook his hand before I began addressing the party. Thank you, Albin. Brothers and sisters, together we have achieved a lot in the past 4 years. I know that our term could have gone better. I took office to bring reform to this country. Lilius Graff and the old guard stood in our way. Took a deep breath. But I'm here to do more to bring meaningful change, but I believe if we stand together, nobody can stop us. Nobody can stop us. We can't let Miss Graff take the helm of our ship. Make this country great. I promise to bring the recession under control in no time. Do not fall to Miss Graff's lie. She betrayed our trust by leaving a very important office. The puppet of Tarquin Sol and the old guard, nothing else. Who ran away from her duties. Elect me again so we can continue our great transformation. And Morgna Westcore. Campaign music started blaring again as I left the podium. Albin shook my hand and I walked back to my seat to the sound of loud applause. I sat back down next to Lucian. It was a good speech, sir. I think that's the first good speech I've given in my whole entire campaign. Albin spoke from the podium again. Thank you again for your speech, Mr. President. Now I'd like to invite the next candidate to the stage. She's one of the most experienced and respected members of this party. We all know her from her accomplishments in Arvery and Holsword and as Swordland's Minister of the Interior. Let's welcome the former Minister of the Interior of Swordland, Lilius Graff. The hall started applauding. Lilius walked up to the podium, accompanied by an old nationalist song about the Swordish Civil War. A letter inter Nork Ni, or The Light in the Darkness. Her eyes had a fire in them that I'd never seen before. Fellow compatriots, it is an honor to be a candidate for the leadership of our great United Swordland Party. She pulled out a handkerchief and dabbed at her eyes. Forgive me, this beautiful song always fills me with emotion. My opponent might call that a weakness, I consider it a strength. Brings me hope to see all the energy in this Congress Hall today, but hope alone does not suffice. I don't want to listen to songs any longer. I want us to sing them from the rooftops. What is it that you want, sons and daughters of Swordland? I'll tell you right now. You want a president who will stand bravely against the wealthy elites in their mansions, rather than kowtow to their every demand. You want a Swordland that protects its own rather than letting in foreigners who have no respect for our culture. You want a strong and united Swordland. I'm here to tell you that none of those things are possible as long as Anton Rain is in office. As those who rule the state become more and more alienated from the values that make us who we are, and the deplorables who stand silent against this sink us deeper into a quagmire of moral and cultural corruption, he tore his own wife away from her rightful place at home and forced her into politics in the name of women's liberation. And he did all of that without even managing to fix the recession. Swordish people are still suffering. He is a disgrace to the name of Tarquin Sol. We cannot allow him to taint the accomplishments of this party any further. She's going too far. Don't worry, sir, let her say what she wants. The result won't change. After nearly 4 years of the president behaving abominably against all my advice, I had no choice but to tender my resignation. For I believe we could achieve much more, for I still believe in the idea of a united Swordland. I appeal to your innate sense of honor and dignity as Swordish people. Elect me as your leader, and I promise that with the Lord on my side, I shall elevate this party and this glorious nation to the heavens. Mr. Rain, your time leading this country is through. I am here to bring down the walls you built. Thank you, and Morgana West Corps. Don't do anything. I filled up my ballot, making an X next to my own name, and lined up to drop it in the ballot box. After all the votes were cast, we sat back down and waited for the announcement. After some time, Albin appeared on the stage again. Thank you, everybody, for voting today. The results are ready. After counting every vote, we have come to a conclusion. The winner of today's leadership vote is determined to be Lilius Graff. What a shock and horror. The hall reverberated with thunderous applause. I congratulate our new leader and our next candidate for president. I couldn't believe it. For a moment, my sight darkened. All I heard was the shouting, Lilius, Lilius. I couldn't focus. Everything became a blur. I need a moment. I sank down in my seat and sighed deeply. I think after this loss, I must resign from politics entirely. What will you do now? My political career didn't start with you, and it won't end with you. Besides, you're not going anywhere, are you? Of course not. Then you know I'll support you, as long as we figure out a good plan. I will start my own party and run for the president again. The Democratic Party of Swordland. High time that Swordland had a new political movement. That is an interesting plan, sir. I support your decision, however, I don't think I'll be leaving the USP myself. I'm sorry. I thought you'd follow me anywhere. There is no need for drama, sir. You lost, and now you're angry. I get it. But as I said before, my political career didn't start with you, and it won't end with you. Somehow I expected that I'd be alone in this. I wasn't sure if my plan would even succeed. I thought back on my many years in the USP, then I thought about the future. I needed to plan my next steps. Well, I'm going rogue, it looks like. Rain stabs USB in back, founds Democrat Party. Wow, I did actually do that. Graff victorious at USB Congress. I had to think of my next steps. I thought, interesting. Rain breaks from old guard, runs as independent. Very, very interesting. I mean, I'm not going to win. With the election looming, I'd practically been sleeping at the Maroon Palace lately, but tonight I made a deliberate effort to get home early. I told Monica and Deanna I wanted a family supper, just like in the old days. Monica had promised to cook something special. The usual crowd of protesters was waiting for me outside the gates of the complex. The guards formed a cordon to let me through. Don't look at them and go to the door. And once inside, I locked the front door behind me. I hurried past them, went inside and locked the front door behind... Oh, what the... I heard footsteps coming my way. Hi, Papa. Hug her. She hugged me back happily. How was school today? Deanna shrugged. I won a prize at the handicrafts fair. Mama didn't seem to care that much, though. She's just jealous because she was always bad at sewing. Deanna smiled. Mama's in there. I've got to go do some homework before dinner. I followed her with my eyes as she went upstairs. She was starting to look more and more like her mother. I stepped into the kitchen. Monica was stirring a pot on the stove, her back turned to me. Hug her from behind. She screamed and dropped her ladle. God, Anton, don't startle me like that. You know I'm still on the edge after the parade. Can't a man greet his wife? Yes, of course, just walk in a little more loudly next time. Why don't you go fix yourself a drink in the living room? I'll let you know when dinner's ready. I sat down in the living room, poured myself a bit of whiskey, and flipped through one of Monica's women's magazines. Deanna came rushing back down the stairs and made a beeline for the coffee table. She picked up her pencil case. Almost forgot that. What do you hear from your brother these days? I think he's getting really into his army training. Is Swordland run by a bunch of weaklings? What? Of course not. Monica appeared in the doorway. She smiled at the two of us. Dinner's ready. The three of us gathered around the dining table. Monica ladled out bowls full of zabla. The stew tasted as good as it smelled. Now that we're all here, I wanted to say something. Past 4 years have tested our strength as a family. These are the sort of people, and I sometimes forgot about Swordland's most important people, my own wife and daughter. I hope someday we'll be able to put this behind us and be a normal family again. Monica's eyes were shining. Right time, there's no time. We need to get out of Swordland, all of us. We need to get out of Swordland, all of us. Anton, what in the ever-loving hell? I never thought I would be a pariah. What's a pariah? It's an outcast, sweetie. I don't know about this, Anton. I still have so much to do for women's rights. Nobody will listen to you once I'm out of office. Sorry. You may be right. I just hate the idea of losing all the progress we've made. Papa, where are we going? I thought for a moment. Karut, the only truly neutral country I knew of, seemed like the obvious choice. A little house in the mountains wouldn't cost much. Karut, it's going to be an adventure. You make lots of new friends, and Karut's school system is a lot better than Swordland's anyway. Alright, Anton, when do we leave? Leave in a week. I need to make sure our tracks are covered first. Cool, we're going on an adventure. Let's finish dinner, at least. Alright. We ate in tense silence. I could tell Monica and Deanna were both deep in thought. When we were done, we cleared out our plates and went to our rooms. We had a lot of packing to do. Well, I'm running, it seems like. Country relationship updated. Kingdom of Rungberg is hostile. Military is overwhelming. ATO declares World Liberation Manifestation. In a major diplomatic development, the ATO has declared the World Liberation Manifestation, a strategic vision focused on promoting liberty, equity, and wealth across the globe. Illinois. The Air Force has issued a warning against non-essential air travel. Civilians are discouraged from booking flights except in the case of business purposes or to visit sick or dying relatives. Hope is not lost. TSP leader Dennis Stahler made a speech to the largest crowd he ever assembled. Tens of thousands came together in Valgan. ATO and CSP signals sanctions on Rumberg. Made history yesterday with a joint announcement to address the threat of Rumberg. The declaration signaled sanctions on Rumberg if the threatening moves continued in eastern Makopa. During the speech, they also thanked Swordland for the efforts to bring more attention to the issues. Rumberg's economy has taken a strong hit due to the sanctions of the trade. President Rain's strategy to isolate Rumberg has proven to be working. Well, I'm still getting out of Dodge. Military assumes interior security details. With the new powers that has been granted, the Swordish military has assumed responsibilities for keeping peace within Swordland's borders, overriding local police authority. Extra troops have been dispatched to Camp Strong Arm to manage the growing unrest in Wholesword. Oh, really? Woke up to a loud knock on the door. I managed to open my eyes and look at the clock. It was 11:58 p.m. Who could it be at this hour? Huffing and puffing, I put on my slippers. I looked at the other side of the bed. Monica was sleeping soundly. I started walking downstairs. I heard another knock on the door, louder this time. Keep walking towards the door. Another knock, this time even louder. Look through the peephole. I can see Iosef standing outside, accompanied by a few soldiers. I won't open the door unless you answer. We need to talk, Mr. President. This is urgent. Tell me what it's about first. Do it. With a scary thud, the door shook on its hinges. Monica's rushed down the stairs, still in her nightgown. Her voice was trembling. We have to run now. Another thud and the door was cracked open. Anton! Soldiers immediately stormed into my house. They entered and went through every room, checking for threats. Once they were done, they stood ready. Iosef walked in. Soldiers saluted him. You explain to me what the hell is going on right now. I'm sorry, but your time is over, Mr. President. You are under arrest for your crimes against Swordland. Above all else, you have committed high treason and conspired against the will of your people. Please don't hurt my family. Rest assured, your family will be under our watch and they will remain safe. That is, of course, if you cooperate. The military had no choice but to take over the government to ensure the well-being of Swordland and its people. The Grand National Assembly is hereby abolished, along with the immunity of members of the Parliament. In addition, a curfew is now in effect and all gatherings are banned until further notice. All government officials who are suspected of betraying their country will be tried in military court and made to answer for their crimes. That includes you, Mr. President. No, you can't do this. I won't let you. I am the President of Swordland. Not anymore. Take him away. I don't want to see his face. He will wait in a cell in Antel Rock Prison until his trial. Diana appeared at the top of the stairs. She rubbed her eyes in disbelief. Where are they taking him? Monica pulled on my jacket. A soldier moved in and shoved her away forcefully. Tears welled in her eyes. Anton. Take care of Diana. You can't take him away, please. This is unconstitutional. Another soldier pulled out handcuffs. There's no need for handcuffs. I know when I have no way out. Soldier stopped in his tracks and looked at Iosef for confirmation. He nodded. These men escorted me to the truck. I realized I still had my slippers on. They roughly shoved me into the back of the vehicle, and as they would a common criminal. The engine rumbled to life and the truck started moving. Oh look, government budget just decreased. I'm not taking blame for that one. My economy is apparently slightly growing a bit better. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no longer the President of Swordland. It is over. As we come to Antel, and I await my trial. I was making my 14th scratch on the wall when the warden opened the cell door. This was my first time seeing a person since the military detained me. He put handcuffs on my wrists and we started walking. I barely had enough energy to ask where we were going. I just assumed the worst. He told me today was the day of my trial. While we were walking, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a metal door. My beard had grown and my cheeks were sunken. The conditions I was held in were showing. I was the only one loaded into the prison truck. After a couple of hours had passed, we finally came to a stop. After I exited the vehicle, I held my head up and saw the insignia of the Supreme Court. Soldiers grabbed my arms and led me inside. They gestured towards the table in the courtroom. I took my place at the table. Looking around, I saw the flags of the Swordish armed forces hanging down from the walls, covering the crests of the Supreme Court. The room was completely empty except for me and the soldiers on guard. I looked at the vacant seats on the bench. The door opened and General Iosef Lancia entered alone. The soldiers saluted and he saluted back. I watched him take his seat comfortably. Normally, you are supposed to rise when a judge enters this room, Mr. Rain. You are no judge, you are just a usurper. Cranky, aren't we? I suppose that's what staying in a cell for weeks does to people. There's no time to waste, let's begin. This military court will now handle the case of Anton Rain, the former president of Swordland. Do you know why you are here? Yes, I do. We all know your sins. You are accused of high treason against Swordland, Mr. Rain. Is there any particular hate of yours against the democratically elected president and government? Shut your mouth, you will only speak when you are spoken to. You have failed to govern your people and instead, as a result of your actions, they are revolting. If you can't put an end to this, then we will. You have allowed our military to degrade, causing direct danger to the integrity of our country and to our people. You spat on the very foundations this country was built upon. It is clear to me that you are actively trying to destroy our country from the inside, and any enemy of Swordland must pay the ultimate price. What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. Rain? As criminal, you have neither the right nor the authority to judge me. It's a power grab in the disguise of protecting the Republic. I demand a proper trial. You finished? Shall we move on then? Doesn't matter what I say, does it? No, not really. His mouth twitched upwards as a smirk started forming on his face. I see what this is. Your lies know no bound. Fortunately, we don't care if you play along or not. One day, the people of Swordland will look back and curse your name for what you have done. You are wrong, Mr. Rain. They will thank me for getting rid of you. No need to delay this further. I now announce the verdict on this case. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our presidency has ended. I'm reckoning I'm probably in front of a firing squad, to be honest. Tap the gavel. The sound echoed in the empty courtroom. He rose from his seat. Knowing what was coming next, you felt that you did your best for Swordland, no matter what. Next what you heard, where I hereby decide that you are guilty. You thought about how you would go down in history as the victim of yet another one of Swordland's coups. But he wasn't done speaking. For the magnitude of the crimes you have committed against Swordland, I am sentencing you to life in prison. Soldiers grabbed your arms and started walking you towards the door. As you were walking, you worried about the future of your family. Your cell was cold and lonely. The only decorations you put on the damp, dark walls were photos of Frank and Deanna. For a while, reading was the only thing you could do. After finishing the precious book sent by Monica, you kept yourself busy by writing your own memoir. You were happy that at least your family was allowed to visit once a month. You learned in prison that after 2 years, the military junta finally gave the power back to people. The political parties and the Grand National Assembly were re-established. You thought this could be your way out. The warden paid you a visit to deliver a letter from the Swordish Armed Forces. You opened the envelope. Frank Rain was killed in action in a battle against the BFF near Suzerain. After 7 years in jail, Swordland's new president finally granted amnesty to political prisoners from the military rule days. You looked at yourself in the mirror as you were picking up your belongings to leave. You took your first step outside. Freedom felt good. Monica and Deanna were waiting for you. Unfortunately, the years hadn't been kind to Monica. Getting used to being a free man took years. You finally found confident enough to plan out what to do with the rest of your life. You chose to retire to the countryside. Life was good. You took up various hobbies like gardening and woodworking. Out of boredom, you became a carpenter. Your new pastimes earned you just enough money to get by. A week after your 65th birthday, a woman knocked on your door. She was a young, upstart journalist fascinated by your life story. No matter what you did, she kept coming back. Finally, you gave in. She said she was working on a book about you. Helped her as best you could. After many hours of interviews, she said she had enough information and disappeared from your life. You looked up the name she had given you, but you couldn't find it anywhere. You suspected she'd used an alias. You heard a knock on your door. It was the delivery man with a large, heavy package. The package was filled with copies of books. There was a small note on top of it. Thank you, Carol Circus. You picked up the book. It was titled Suzerain, the story of Anton Rain. You faintly smiled. So there you go. I was in office for 4 years. I was preceded by and I was succeeded by my vice president. I had 2. I was born. Alma Mater, spouse, children. And this is why I ended up on the whole political thing. I didn't lean towards Solism forever. Swordish reformists, I didn't help them either. I did, however, leave slightly towards Malin-Yevism and away from Arcadian capitalism. And so as you can see, all of these people who were generally on this this general board. Poet and MP Bernard Circus. So it was his daughter who wrote the book on me. So 1.6 million people lost their jobs. 81% fewer maternal and infant deaths were recorded. During street clashes, 52 police officers and 228 protesters were killed. 8,800 were arrested. 779 people were killed during the clash between Red Youth and Young Swords. 1314 conscripts died in training. 3390 people with Bluish descent were jailed and 239 were killed. Investigations were launched on 48 businessmen. 11,340 domestic violent cases were reported. 81,000 companies declared bankruptcy. Private assets worth 5 billion SR were seized by the state. 1,143 news articles were altered. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of our go at being the president of Swordland. It failed gloriously, really. I mean, if you're gonna go out, hey, go out in style. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, as per always, thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you have enjoyed it. And until we see you again, I hope that you will stay safe, happy, and healthy.